Have you ever felt this before? You're lying in bed, ready to drift into a peaceful sleep, when suddenly your calf tightens so sharply it steals your breath, a cramp that comes out of nowhere and leaves you wondering why it keeps happening, especially at night. A patient of mine once shared that she dreaded bedtime because she never knew when the next cramp would strike. She told me it felt like her muscles were trying to send her a message she didn't yet understand. I want you to imagine this for a moment. What if those nighttime cramps were not random at all? What if they were signals your body has been trying to send for years, asking for just a little more of the right support? Many people assume leg cramps are simply part of getting older, something to tolerate or ignore. But in my years caring for older adults, I've learned that cramps often reveal more than we expect. While most leg cramps are not dangerous, certain patterns and sensations deserve our attention. Cramps that strike repeatedly at night, cramps that travel up the leg, cramps accompanied by numbness or changes in skin color, or cramps that worsen with walking can quietly signal deeper problems in circulation, nerve health, or mineral balance. I want you to hear this with reassurance, not fear. Knowledge brings safety. Understanding your body's signals early can prevent complications later. Leg cramps are messages, not threats. And tonight, we're going to explore how the foods you eat before bedtime can calm your muscles, restore key minerals, and help you sleep without pain. There is simple science behind this, and I'll explain it in a way that feels clear and empowering. We'll talk about the nutrients your muscles crave at night, the foods that support healthy circulation, and the bedtime habits that help your legs relax instead of tighten. Before we continue, please take a moment to subscribe, like, and share Senior Health Daily. Your support helps us bring life-changing information to more older adults who need it. Stay with me. In the next part, you'll discover how a few foods before bed can completely change the way your nights feel. Why some leg cramps become warning signs. When we start looking closely at nighttime leg cramps, it becomes clear that not all cramps speak the same language. Some cramps are simply the result of a tight muscle, a long day on your feet, or mild dehydration. These are the ones that fade with a gentle stretch or a massage. But others carry a deeper message, a different level of intensity. And these are the ones doctors never ignore. A harmless cramp typically comes and goes. It might leave tenderness, but it settles quickly. A concerning cramp behaves differently. It may strike the same leg over and over. It might wake you repeatedly throughout the night. Instead of a simple tightening, it may feel like burning, or as though the muscle is gasping for air. And in many ways, that sensation is not far from the truth. Muscles rely on oxygen to function. When circulation slows or arteries become narrowed, the muscle doesn't receive the oxygen it needs. The muscle panics, and that panic shows up as a sudden, gripping cramp. Imagine trying to hold your breath for too long. Your chest tightens, your body demands relief, and everything tenses. That is exactly how a muscle reacts when blood flow is restricted. Nerves can also create warning sign cramps. When nerves are compressed, irritated, or damaged, the signals they send become chaotic. Instead of smooth messages, the nerves fire randomly, like sparks jumping from a damaged wire. The result is a cramp that appears out of nowhere, or a sharp, burning sensation that wakes you from sleep. Doctors look for specific red flags. A cramp accompanied by numbness, burning pain, cold feet, or skin discoloration can indicate something deeper. Slow healing on the lower legs or a shiny, pale appearance on the skin can suggest poor blood flow. These signs matter because cramps are often the body's first attempt to say something important is happening beneath the surface. Understanding these signs should not create fear. It should build confidence. The earlier we recognize patterns, the easier it is to protect our long-term health. Nighttime leg cramps are not just pain. They are communication. And when we listen with awareness, we can catch circulation problems, nerve issues, or mineral imbalances long before they become dangerous. This is why learning the difference between normal and warning sign cramps can change the way you understand your body and your safety at night. Dangerous circulation causes doctors never ignore. When we explore the deeper causes behind leg cramps that feel different, circulation becomes one of the first places we look. The legs rely on a steady stream of oxygen-rich blood, and when that flow is interrupted, the muscles respond immediately. Many older adults live with circulation problems for years without realizing it, and the earliest clues often appear during moments of rest in the evening. One of the most common and overlooked causes is peripheral artery disease, often known as PAD. This condition develops slowly as plaque builds up in the arteries, narrowing the pathways that carry blood to the legs. At first, the symptoms appear subtle. You might feel a tightness in the calves when walking, a heaviness that makes you stop to rest, or a fatigue that seems unusual for the amount of activity you're doing. Once the muscle receives more oxygen, the discomfort fades, and many people shrug it off as age catching up with them. But PAD sends a very specific message. The muscles are asking for more blood than the arteries can provide. I recall a gentleman named Samuel who believed his nighttime cramps were harmless. Every evening, he would rub his calves, hoping the tightness would ease. His walking routine became shorter because the pain forced him to rest often. When we finally evaluated his circulation, we discovered significant narrowing in his arteries. With treatment and a few lifestyle changes, his legs began to feel lighter, and he later told me he wished he had listened to those early warning signs sooner. Another circulation issue that raises immediate concern is the possibility of a blood clot, known as deep vein thrombosis. A clot in the leg creates a different kind of pain. It often presents as a sharp cramp or deep ache in one leg, usually accompanied by swelling, warmth, or tenderness. The skin may appear slightly redder, and walking may become painful. Unlike typical cramps, this discomfort does not fade with stretching or massaging. It is persistent. A clot requires urgent medical attention, and recognizing it early can prevent life-threatening complications. Varicose veins and chronic venous insufficiency present their own challenges. Instead of the arteries restricting blood flow down to the legs, the veins struggle to carry blood back up toward the heart. This leads to pooling of blood, swelling, aching, and sometimes painful nighttime cramps. Many seniors describe a sense of heaviness in their legs at the end of the day, especially after sitting or standing for long periods. These conditions are not emergencies, but they are important to address because improving circulation often reduces cramping dramatically. What gives me hope is how treatable many of these problems are once we identify them. Simple tests like the ankle brachial index or a quick ultrasound can reveal how well the blood is flowing. These tests are painless, non-invasive, and incredibly informative. When circulation improves, cramps often soften or disappear altogether. Circulation is a window into the health of the entire body. When the legs do not receive enough blood, they speak through pain. When the nerves aren't nourished properly, they misfire. And when the muscles don't receive oxygen, they seize. Understanding these patterns helps us protect not only our legs, but our entire cardiovascular system. Nerve problems behind serious leg cramps. As we continue exploring the deeper roots of nighttime leg cramps, we move into one of the most fascinating and misunderstood systems of the body, the nerves. These tiny electrical messengers control every movement, sensation, and reflex in your legs. When they fire smoothly, you barely notice them. But when something irritates, compresses, or damages them, the signals they send become unpredictable. And one of the first signs of nerve trouble often appears as a cramp that wakes you from sleep. Nerve-related leg cramps feel different from muscle cramps caused by dehydration or mineral imbalance. They may start with tingling or a warm, burning sensation that crawls down the leg. Sometimes the foot twitches without warning, or a sharp jolt darts from the calf to the ankle. People often describe it as if their legs suddenly come alive with electricity. That feeling is the nerves misfiring. One of the most common causes of nerve-related cramps in older adults is neuropathy. Neuropathy develops when the nerves lose their protective coating or become damaged over time. Diabetes is one of the biggest contributors. When blood sugar stays high for too long, the nerves begin to fray, and the signals they send become weaker, slower, or chaotic. Many patients tell me their first sign wasn't numbness, but restless legs at night. The muscles would jump or tighten suddenly, especially when they were exhausted. Sciatica is another hidden cause. This occurs when a nerve in the lower back is compressed or irritated. Even though the root of the problem is in the spine, the pain can travel all the way down the leg. Some people believe their nighttime cramps are just muscle tightening, but the real issue sits higher, along the nerve's pathway. When the nerve is irritated throughout the day, it becomes even more active at night when the body finally slows down. I once worked with a woman named Teresa, who experienced unbearable cramps at bedtime. She tried stretching, hydration, and warm baths, but nothing eased her discomfort. When we evaluated her, we discovered she had nerve compression in her lower spine. After physical therapy and a few targeted exercises, her nighttime cramps nearly vanished. She told me it felt like reclaiming her nights after years of poor sleep. There are moments when nerve-related cramps require urgent evaluation. If a cramp comes with sudden weakness, numbness that climbs up the leg, or loss of balance, it may point to a more serious nerve disorder. If the skin becomes extremely sensitive or the pain feels electrical and persistent, it is essential to rule out nerve damage before it progresses. Nerves are like electrical cables running through the body. When they are healthy, they carry energy smoothly. When they are damaged, the signals flicker, spark, and sometimes surge. Leg cramps from nerve problems are your body's way of saying the wiring needs attention. Hidden metabolic or mineral imbalances. As we look deeper into the causes behind nighttime leg cramps, there is another layer that often goes unnoticed. It is the quiet world of minerals and metabolism, the inner chemistry that keeps your muscles contracting, relaxing, and recovering. When this chemistry becomes unbalanced, even slightly, your legs feel it long before you do. Mineral imbalances are among the most common and most overlooked contributors to stubborn leg cramps. Magnesium, potassium, and calcium are three minerals that work together like a team. Magnesium calms the nerves and relaxes the muscles. Potassium balances electrical signals so the muscles do not fire uncontrollably. Calcium helps the muscles contract and release in a smooth rhythm. When even one of these minerals is low, the entire cycle becomes unstable. Many older adults are surprised to learn that the body absorbs fewer minerals with age. The digestive system becomes less efficient. Medications interfere with nutrient levels, and appetite changes lead to lower intake. Even mild dehydration can shift electrolyte levels enough to trigger nighttime spasms. Some people drink less water in the evening to avoid waking up for bathroom trips, but the body pays the price through cramping and stiffness. Kidney function also plays a significant role. The kidneys filter excess minerals and maintain balance in the bloodstream. When they are under strain, the balance becomes harder to maintain. A slight shift in potassium or magnesium can irritate nerves and tighten muscles. Thyroid disorders can also contribute, creating a mixture of fatigue, weakness, and unpredictable muscle reactions. Often people seek help for the cramps without realizing there is a hormonal or metabolic cause beneath the surface. I remember a patient named Linda who struggled with nightly cramps for nearly a year. She tried stretching, heat therapy, and hydration, but her symptoms persisted. When we checked her mineral levels, her magnesium was significantly low. She had no idea her favorite medications were depleting it. Once we adjusted her diet and made a few supplement changes, her nighttime cramps eased and her sleep improved dramatically. She told me it felt like her body finally exhaled after years of tension. Another patient, a retired teacher named Carl, experienced sudden, intense cramps that made it difficult to sleep. His potassium levels were just below normal, likely from a combination of medication and reduced appetite. After increasing potassium-rich foods and monitoring his levels closely, his cramps faded over several weeks. His relief was so profound that he began preparing his evening meals with intention, knowing his legs depended on those minerals. There are signs that an imbalance might be more serious. If leg cramps come with irregular heartbeat, swelling in the feet or hands, or overwhelming fatigue, it may indicate a deeper metabolic issue. These symptoms are your body's way of pointing towards something it can no longer correct on its own. Mineral imbalances remind us of an important truth. The body is constantly communicating, not through dramatic events, but through subtler whispers, a tightening calf, a restless foot, a muscle that wakes you from sleep. When we understand the language of these signals, we become more capable of protecting our long-term health. How doctors distinguish harmless versus dangerous leg cramps. As a doctor, one of the most important parts of my work is helping people understand which leg cramps are simply uncomfortable and which ones deserve deeper attention. This distinction matters because it brings peace of mind. When you know what your body is trying to say, fear begins to fade and understanding takes its place. Harmless cramps usually follow a familiar rhythm. They come after a long day on your feet, after exercise, or when your body is slightly dehydrated. They respond well to stretching or a warm shower. They may leave soreness, but no lingering complications. These cramps are often the result of muscle fatigue, mineral fluctuation, or temporary tension. Dangerous cramps, on the other hand, follow a pattern that feels different. They may strike only one leg repeatedly. They may worsen at night, even when you have not been active. They may be accompanied by numbness, swelling, coldness, or a change in skin color. Sometimes the leg feels heavy, weak, or unusually warm to the touch. These clues are important because muscles do not behave this way unless something deeper is influencing them. Doctors also look closely at the timing and intensity of cramps. Pain that worsens with walking but eases with rest often suggests a circulation issue like peripheral artery disease. A cramp that comes with sudden swelling may point toward a clot. Sharp, shooting pain that travels down the leg could signal nerve compression. Repeated cramps at night might reveal mineral imbalances or nerve irritation. Simple questions help us understand the root cause. When does the pain begin? What makes it better or worse? Does one leg feel colder than the other? Have you noticed changes in the color of your toes or feet? Does the discomfort appear only at rest or during movement? These details allow us to piece together the full picture. Diagnostic tests provide further clarity. A quick circulation test can show how well blood flows to the feet. An ultrasound can detect clots. A simple blood test can uncover diabetes, thyroid issues, or electrolyte imbalances. The goal is never to overwhelm you with medical steps, but to protect your long-term health by understanding what the body is trying to communicate. What's important to remember is that early evaluation leads to better outcomes. When we identify the root of a dangerous cramp early, treatment becomes simpler and recovery becomes faster. Many of my patients felt anxious when they first noticed new symptoms, but they later told me that understanding the cause gave them peace and direction. Your body is wise. It rarely sends distress signals without purpose. Leg cramps are not random punishments. They are signs. They are invitations to pay attention. They are opportunities to protect your health before problems become serious. Before we go deeper, let me pause for a moment. If this video is helping you understand your health, please subscribe, like, and share Senior Health Daily. It gives us the motivation to create more life-saving content for you. Nighttime habits that make serious leg cramps worse. One of the most surprising things I've learned over decades of caring for older adults is how much our nighttime habits influence the way our muscles behave. Many people believe cramps appear suddenly and without reason, but the truth is that the hours leading up to bedtime can shape everything that happens during the night. Some habits seem harmless at first glance, yet they quietly place stress on the muscles, nerves, and circulation in ways most people never realize. A common habit is sitting for long periods in the evening. Many older adults watch television or read in the same chair for hours. The longer the legs remain still, the more the blood flow slows. Muscles cool down, tendons tighten slightly, nerves become more sensitive. By the time bedtime arrives, the legs are almost primed for a cramp. It is not the sitting itself that causes the problem. It is the lack of movement right before the body shifts into a restful state. Muscles need a gentle transition into the night, and without it, they react with sudden tension. Another habit that worsens nighttime cramps is going to bed with cold feet. When the feet are cold, the blood vessels constrict. That constriction reduces circulation to the muscles, making it harder for them to stay relaxed. Many older adults tell me they fall asleep with cold toes and wake up with a painful cramp. Once we help them warm their feet before bed, the cramps often lessen. Something so simple can make such a profound difference. Sleeping positions also affect nighttime cramping. Some people naturally point their toes downward when they sleep. This stretches the calf muscles in an unnatural way for long periods and can trigger early morning cramps. Others curl tightly into a fetal position, which restricts circulation and shortens muscles overnight. Even heavy blankets can weigh down the feet in a way that limits movement and strains the calves. Hydration habits play a role as well. Drinking too little water after dinner to avoid nighttime bathroom trips may seem practical, but it reduces the body's ability to balance electrolytes. When mineral levels shift too much during the night, the muscles respond with spasms. Without the right fluid balance, magnesium, potassium, and calcium cannot do their job effectively. Caffeine late in the day can create tension in the muscles and overstimulate the nerves, making cramps more likely. The same is true for heavy or salty meals, which pull blood toward the digestive system and away from the legs. This shift makes it more difficult for the muscles to rest comfortably. One of my patients, a retired librarian named Helen, struggled with severe cramps for years. She assumed they were age-related until we looked closely at her evenings. Every night she sat in the same recliner for 3 hours before bed. Her circulation slowed dramatically, and her muscles remained still for too long. Once she added just 5 minutes of gentle movement before bedtime, her cramps eased almost immediately. She used to fear nighttime, but after adjusting her habits, she told me her nights felt like they belonged to her again. Nighttime habits may seem small, but they shape the environment your legs experience for hours while you sleep. When we correct these habits, we give the muscles the support they have been asking for. We help circulation stay steady, we calm the nerves, and we allow the body to find the peaceful rest it deserves. Early warning signs. Viewers should never ignore. There are moments when the body whispers, long before it ever raises its voice. Nighttime leg cramps often begin this way, with subtle signals that something needs attention. Most people brush off these early signs because the symptoms appear mild or inconsistent. But recognizing these clues early can make the difference between a simple fix and a more serious problem developing quietly beneath the surface. One of the first signs is cramping that occurs repeatedly in only one leg. A single leg acting up night after night often reflects something more than dehydration or tension. It might indicate that the blood flow is compromised on one side, or that a nerve is being compressed. The body rarely creates one-sided patterns without reason. When a single leg becomes the troublemaker, it is asking you to look more closely. Another early warning is cramping that worsens when walking, but eases when you stop to rest. Many seniors mistake this for fatigue, yet it often suggests the muscles are not receiving enough oxygen during movement. This pattern appears frequently in people with early peripheral artery disease. The calves tighten, the steps feel heavier, and the muscles seem to tire too quickly. Once movement pauses and the demand for oxygen decreases, the pain fades. The muscles are telling you the supply and demand are no longer balanced. Cold feet or pale toes can also signal that circulation is struggling. Many older adults notice their toes lose color or feel unusually cool, especially at night. They may ignore it because it is not painful, but the body is speaking through temperature and color, offering early signs that the vessels are not delivering enough warm, oxygenated blood to the lower limbs. Then there is the burning sensation that some describe as heat spreading beneath the skin. Others feel tingling, like sparks moving through the foot or calf. These are classic nerve-related symptoms. They often appear before the nerves become severely irritated. When ignored, the discomfort can escalate from mild tingling to sharp, sleep-interrupting cramps. Swelling is another signal the body hopes we don't overlook. When swelling pairs with cramping or tenderness, especially in one leg, it tells us the veins are struggling to move blood back toward the heart. Sometimes the skin looks a little redder, or the leg feels heavier than usual. These signs often appear before bigger issues surface, making this one of the most important signals to pay attention to. Sudden fatigue while walking, especially if it feels out of proportion to your effort, is another early message. The muscles may not be receiving enough blood quickly enough, or the nerves may be sending mixed signals. When the legs begin tiring faster than they used to, it is our chance to intervene early. What I want you to remember is that none of these signs are meant to scare you. They are meant to guide you. The body is incredibly wise. It rarely stays silent when something needs support. Instead, it sends gentle, early messages, hoping you will listen before the situation grows louder. When we learn to recognize these warning signs, we become stronger partners in our own health. We gain clarity, we gain confidence, and we give ourselves the opportunity to address small problems before they become large ones. What viewers can do to stay safe? When it comes to protecting your legs from nighttime cramps, the most powerful tools are often the simplest ones. You do not need complicated routines or expensive treatments. What you need is awareness, consistency, and a little gentle care. Your body responds beautifully to small changes when they are done with intention. One of the first places to start is hydration. Many older adults unintentionally dehydrate themselves by drinking very little water in the evening. It is an understandable habit because nighttime bathroom trips can interrupt sleep, but without enough fluid, the body struggles to manage its electrolytes. Muscles tighten more easily, and the delicate balance of minerals begins to shift. The key is not to flood your system with water right before bed, but to hydrate steadily throughout the afternoon so your body enters the night in a comfortable balance. Gentle movement also plays an essential role in preventing nighttime cramps. Your muscles are living tissues that crave circulation. A slow walk around the house after dinner, or light stretching before bed, can send fresh blood into the calves and feet. That small boost can reduce the tension that builds when the legs stay still for too long. Even simple ankle circles, or calf stretches, help the muscles feel supported and ready for rest. Strengthening the legs can also make a significant difference. When the muscles are stronger, they are less reactive and less likely to seize during the night. You do not need anything intense. Slow, controlled movements, chair exercises, or lifting your heels a few times a day can keep the calves active and resilient. Blood sugar stability is another key factor. When glucose levels swing dramatically, the nerves become more sensitive. This is especially important for people living with diabetes or prediabetes. Eating balanced meals with protein, healthy fats, and fiber can prevent those late-night drops or spikes that irritate the nerves and trigger cramps. Heart-healthy habits also support the legs because circulation begins with the heart. Simple practices like reducing sodium, enjoying more fruits and vegetables, and staying physically active help keep the blood flowing smoothly. A strong cardiovascular system reduces the risk of cramps caused by oxygen shortage in the muscles. Knowing when to seek help is just as important as caring for yourself at home. If cramps come with swelling, redness, unusual warmth, or sudden intense pain, it is essential to speak to a doctor. If your legs feel numb, weak, or colder than usual, or if the cramps worsen over time, these are signs that something deeper may need evaluation. Reaching out early is not a sign of alarm. It is a sign of wisdom. What I want you to remember is that your body is not working against you. It is working with you, even when it feels uncomfortable. Every signal it sends is a message about what it needs. When you stay curious rather than fearful, you give yourself the advantage of early protection. When you respond with small daily actions, you support your muscles, nerves, and circulation in ways that build long-term strength. You deserve nights is filled with calm, not pain. With the right habits and a gentle awareness of your body's signals, you can create the safety and comfort your legs have been asking for. Real stories that reveal the truth behind nighttime leg cramps. One of the most powerful ways to understand leg cramps is through the stories of real people who lived with them, learned from them, and eventually overcame them. I have cared for thousands of older adults throughout my career, and each story has taught me something valuable about how the body speaks long before serious problems appear. These stories stay with me, not because of the pain they felt, but because of the hope and transformation that followed once they finally understood what their bodies were trying to say. I once worked with a man named Robert, who had spent most of his retirement walking the same neighborhood path every morning. He was strong, disciplined, and proud that he kept himself active. Yet over the years, he began to slow down. His calves tightened during his walks, forcing him to stop more often. At night, he woke with sharp cramps that made him sit on the edge of his bed, rubbing his legs in frustration. He believed this was simply part of aging, but something about his pattern told me otherwise. We did a quick circulation test, and it revealed early peripheral artery disease. After treatment and a few dietary adjustments, his legs grew stronger, and he returned to his morning walks with the energy he thought he had lost forever. He later told me he wished he had known that leg cramps could be a circulation warning before they became so disruptive. Then there was Mary, a gentlewoman in her 70s who struggled with burning sensations in her feet every night. She thought they were cramps, but they were actually nerve misfires caused by long-standing diabetes. Her nerves were sending chaotic signals that tightened her muscles at random. Once we balanced her blood sugar more effectively and added nutrients that support nerve health, her burning sensations softened. She finally began sleeping through the night again. The relief in her eyes is something I still remember clearly. She said it felt like her legs were finally quiet after years of shouting.
I also remember a patient named Dennis who came in with swelling in one leg and a deep ache that wouldn't go away. He believed he had simply pulled a muscle while gardening, but something about his symptoms concerned me. His leg seemed warmer than the other, and the swelling was too pronounced for a simple strain. A quick ultrasound confirmed a blood clot. We were able to treat it immediately, and he made a full recovery. If he had ignored that cramp, as he called it, the consequences could have been far more serious. He once told me that listening to his body that week may have saved his life. These stories remind me every day that leg cramps are never just cramps. They are part of a bigger conversation your body wants to have with you. Sometimes the message is simple. Drink more water, support your muscles, add the right foods, move a little more in the evening. But sometimes the message carries deeper meaning. Check your circulation, protect your nerves, examine your mineral balance, look beneath the surface. What I hope you take from these stories is this: you are not alone. Many people experience the same signals, the same confusion, the same questions, and many people find relief, healing, and confidence once they begin listening to their bodies with compassion instead of fear.
As we bring this section to a close, I want to take a moment to reflect on everything we have uncovered together. Nighttime leg cramps may feel sudden, random, or frustrating, but they are never meaningless. Your muscles, nerves, and circulation are constantly speaking to you, and these cramps are among the clearest ways your body communicates its needs. When cramps are harmless, they respond to small acts of care. A little more hydration, a short walk in the evening, a warm pair of socks, a magnesium-rich snack before bed. But when cramps carry deeper meaning, the body often gives clues long before serious problems appear. Circulation patterns shift. Nerves misfire. Mineral levels drift out of balance. These changes do not happen quietly. They show up in the way your legs feel, your energy levels, and your nighttime rest. One truth I've learned throughout my years as a physician is that the body rarely fails without warning. It whispers first. It hints. It nudges. It sends messages through fatigue, tightness, burning sensations, or unusual patterns of pain. The challenge is not that the body hides these signals. The challenge is that most of us were never taught to understand them. But now you are learning to listen. You are gaining the language to interpret your body's messages. You are understanding how food, minerals, circulation, nerves, and habits all work together to shape the way your legs feel at night. And that knowledge gives you strength. It gives you confidence. It allows you to take proactive steps instead of reactive ones. Before we move forward, I want to pause one more time and thank you for being here with me today. If this video is helping you understand your health, please subscribe, like, and share Senior Health Daily. It truly encourages us to keep creating the kind of content that makes a difference in your life. Now you are ready for something powerful. In the next part, we will bring all of this together in an emotional, hopeful closing. We will talk about gratitude for the legs that have carried you through a lifetime, the hope that healing is possible at any age, and the small, steady habits that can transform your nights. As we come to the end of our time together, I want to leave you with something deeper than information. I want to leave you with reassurance, with hope, and with a renewed sense of trust in your body. Yes, serious causes behind leg cramps do exist. We have talked about circulation problems, nerve issues, and mineral imbalances. But what matters most is this. Early recognition saves lives, and you now have the knowledge to see those signs long before they become dangerous. Leg cramps are not threats. They are messages. They are the body's way of saying, I need a little more support. I need more balance. I need you to pay attention. Your body is not failing you. It is calling to you. It is inviting you to listen with patience and compassion. And I want you to take a moment to feel gratitude for your legs. These legs have carried you through decades of living. They have walked you through long workdays, family responsibilities, joyful celebrations, and quiet mornings. They have supported you through illness, healing, and every challenge you've overcome. They deserve your care, your patience, and your appreciation. Here's the part I want you to hold on to. Healing is possible at any age. At 60, at 70, at 80, and beyond. The body still responds beautifully to small, consistent habits. A gentle stretch, a nourishing meal, a mindful evening routine. A commitment to listening to early signals instead of pushing them away. These small actions create powerful change. You are not alone on this journey. At Senior Health Daily, you have a companion who walks beside you, step by step, night by night, helping you understand and protect the body you live in. And as we close, I want you to remember one simple truth. Your body still listens, it still responds, and it still wants to carry you forward. Thank you for being here with me. I hope you subscribe, like, and share this video so we can continue learning and growing together.